What's up guys, this is Saiyan here coming at you with another Dragon Ball CCG deck profile. I'm continuing my little series where basically I build a deck from an individual set. So we have already looked at set 1, obviously that's only one out of many different decks that you can build only by using set 1 cards. But today we are focusing on set 2, the Awakening. And without any further ado, let's really jump into the deck and let's see what concoctions I came up with. It's a nice sunny day here today, so I thought it's a good little opportunity to review some cards. So we start out with 3 Chi-Chis. They are the best zero turn cost cards in set 2. And realistically, your best option as well if you want to head into those crucial turn 0, turn 1 battles. If you're going second, that can be obviously very important. We also run a fairly good Red Ribbon theme. Red Ribbon was a really good faction in set 2 and set 3 as well, and even all the way through set 4 and 5. It had additions in every single set, but obviously if you want to build a competitive Red Ribbon Army deck, you need to run the 3 of Supreme Commander Red. And then finally, we have 3 0 drops of the launch card, because I am running my combo in this deck where we basically get rid of a threat unleashed on turn 3, hopefully, and be able to bring an android into play. So these are 9 turn 0 warriors that we run. Launch isn't really a turn 0 card in the sense that if she's the only card in your hand that you can run, I would rather not do it. Really, Launch is more of a utility card to help you to remove one of your events, or if your opponent brings out an event, remove one of their events, because it removes an event from any side of the game, basically. Going into turn 1s, we have 3 copies of Colonel Silver. He's a really solid Red Ribbon army guy. Just really nice stats, 2-1-2-1, and you have Plunder as well. So him obviously out with Supreme Commander Red. He's actually a 3-2, either in healthy or in injury status. So it's a really cool little card again to run with. And of course, if we talk set 2, we cannot underestimate the power of Supreme Commander Red. With General Blue in play, Supreme Commander Red will give him yet again +1/+1. So this guy will be a 4-3. But even more important to realize about General Blue is that he can basically DOTC any warrior that doesn't have a chi cost. And if you go up until turn 4 cost warriors, it's very rare for them to have a chi cost. Yes, some of them do, particularly Earth Warriors. But this is a staple card, I believe, even if we look at the set 5 era of the game. Now moving on to turn 3, we have 3 mysterious martial artists, or Grandpa Gohan, however you want to refer to him. Another brilliant card here, a 4-2-0-2. He basically has the same stats as the set 1 or the set 3 Krillin, except he in the injury status gets to support and not to combat value. And with the Dragon Ball, if he uses a Taijutsu technique, he also gets +1/+0 until the end of turn, and obviously that's an ongoing effect. So as many times as he uses a Taijutsu with Mysterious Martial Artist, he's going to get that +1/+0 that many times. And we do run 6 Taijutsu techniques in this deck as well, so I'm going to leave him on the side and then we can come back to him in a minute. We run 2 Android 20s and we run 2 Android 19s. They are our primary subjects to be unleashed threat used. Basically bring them down a turn early, and they both have their advantages and disadvantages. Certainly Android 19 is really good if you're looking for more of an attacking game style, because he's a 5-3-1-0, and when you send him out to attack, your opponent needs to discard a chi that they control, which is amazing. You do need a Dragon Ball on him for that though, which can be maybe sometimes a little bit difficult to get to. Android 20 is a really good defensive card. He's got really solid support stats. That 3 support in healthy status, and even that 2 support in injury status is really good. And he also discards chi, but only if he's sent out to defend. And sometimes you maybe not want to send him out to defend, so that obviously you have to really, you know, get some experience with these 2 cards. They're really good in their own account, and they are actually really good in a variety of different decks. They can go into Android decks, they can also go into Red Ribbon Army decks, so again, versatile utility there. You just really need to pick which direction you want to go with your game style. But the number 1 Android that we want to cheat out basically 2 turns early, of course, is Cell, the second form, which I think is definitely one of the most playable cards that came out in set 2. He's just really strong, and yes, normally if you would pay the 2 villain chi for the cost, that would be somewhat expensive, but you can evolve him from the set 1 Cell, and that doesn't cost you anything. He also has Fierce 2, which is really good, and he also has the ability, if you have a Dragon Ball on him in your action phase once per turn, you can move one of your warriors to your chi, and he will get +1/+1. Now, his basic stats are already ridiculously good for a 5 cost, turn 5 cost card. The 7-3-3-0 is ridiculously good. But if you do put a warrior to your chi from your hand, not only will you grow your chi, which can be really good, particularly if you're not playing with Dr. Relo, for example, but he also gets that +1/+1, so on his own he will become an 8-4. That is an extremely good attacking power, and it's an extremely good supporting power as well. And let's not forget the fact that if you want to go in on a full Cell build, obviously if you're not running the set 2 only construction, then you're going to need this guy to be able to evolve into final form Cell. This might be obviously controversial to some players, but I much prefer this card to the final form Cell. In fact, in my opinion, this is by far the best Cell, and the second best Cell is actually Cell Jr., who isn't like really Cell. His name isn't Cell, but he's Cell Jr., so does very good in your decks, both of those cards for sure. Okay, so these are the androids that we're looking to cheat out with Unleashed Threat, and through testing I found that it's actually not super difficult to pull off, but you do need to have the right setup, and the mulligan does obviously matter a lot. We're running 2 Lone Wolf. This is mostly for early game. If you're kind of struggling to get some of your warriors down, then you can organize one particular warrior to be on its own, and then you can obviously give them Lone Wolf, basically power them up and make sure that they do get in for some significant amounts of damage. But you need to remember that you can only use Lone Wolf if you're the attacker in your action phase, so that's something that you need to take into account for sure. In a slight lack of very good playable events for this particular color in Villain, Premonition of Desperation is one of the fairly useful cards. It's more of a controlling card, which is the role that Villain tends to assume in pretty much all the different sets anyway. So with a time limit of 2, you basically tax your opponent's warriors in their hand with an additional chi. So that means a chi cost of 0, like Mysterious Martial Artist, will become a 1. A Cell would cost them 3, which is quite a ridiculous price. So it can be a very good card, but it is somewhat circumstantial. And of course we run the 3 Unleashed Threat, which is a must-have in this particular build. Again, those of you who follow my channel, you guys know that I absolutely adore that card. In terms of techniques, so let's go with Mysterious Martial Artist, because we do run 3 copies of 4 Witches technique, which is a taijutsu, and we also run 3 Sleepy Boy techniques, which is also a taijutsu. So we can really, really bank on Mysterious Martial Artist's special effect. If he has a Dragon Ball, he will get +1/+0 if he uses any of these cards. Now, I'm not saying that it's great for him to use 4 Witches technique, but it actually did save me once when I just needed a +1 power boost, and by him using the 4 Witches technique, it was an expensive trade-off. I played 2 energies for 1 extra battle power, but it won me that particular battle, and I think that was I think that was a game-winning move as well. But what you really want to see Mysterious Martial Artist shine is if you use Sleepy Boy technique. He needs to have the Dragon Ball on him anyway to be able to get that +1/+0 buff, and then he can easily use Sleepy Boy technique, target opposing warrior, support value is 0, then it cannot be modified until the end of turn, so you can basically almost take out one of your opponent's support warriors from the team, but certainly nullify their addition to the team in terms of support value, and he also gets a +1/+1 buff. So these 2 cards, they really well suited. They are designed to work together, obviously. And then we also have 2 Absorption of Energies. This is the final copies, realistically just because we have that little android theme going on there. And if you can unleash threat one of your guys down in turn 3, then you pass the turn, you go into turn 4, you will have an android down, and then you can basically you can give all of the opposing warriors that particular android is defending against -1/-1. So just to give you guys an example, let's say you send out android 20 to defend with. You brought him into play with Unleashed Threat, so android 20 is now down, your opponent's attacking. You defend with android 20. If you manage to put a Dragon Ball on android 20 the turn where you Unleash Threat him out, then he's obviously going to force your opponent to discard a chi. Let's say he might be on his own, then he can potentially get... he can't get a Lone Wolf because you need to be the attacker, but he can still get... to use the Absorption of Energy, and if he's up against 2 warriors, 3 warriors, that's the equivalent of actually having a +3 team power on him. Now, if you're attacking, then obviously it's better to attack with Android 19. Again, if he does have that Dragon Ball, if you have Lone Wolf out, he can basically swing. If he's on his own, he's a 5. He gets another 3 from Lone Wolf, making him an 8. And then you can -3 your opponent. And again, you can just do some really crazy interactions if you work in this set 2 vacuum that I'm talking about, because obviously how we play these decks with my good man KK Joril is that we build specific set type decks. So this is my set 2 take. I think I may have had another one, but I probably have taken that apart now. So this is it, guys. Let me know what you think about it. I quite like the villain theme in set 2. Now, not that that's the only thing that you can run with. You can also run with Super. Super is pretty effective. There's some good cards for Unique as well. I think Alien's probably not in a really good place in set 2, except the Vegeta. The Vegeta is the bomb, but by the time you get that guy out, it's like turn 6. What have you done before that? You're not really going to do much with playing Cybermans and things like that. But anyway, peace out, YouTube. Saiyan signing out. Coming at you with some more videos real soon. Peace.